Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you all are doing fine and thank you for clicking on today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you all the best books that I have read this year till now. Like it's already been 6 months of this year's. There are going to be different kinds of books and different genres of book that you can choose from if you like. And out of all the books that I'm going to share with you all, 7 or 8 of them already has separate reviews on my channel. If you find any of this book interesting, you can check out the solo reviews of the books that I'm going to mention. And all of these books are the books that I have rated 4 or more than 4 stars. Out of those books too, I have selected just few books that I really want to share with you all. Let's get into the video without any spoiler. So the first book is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and this was 5-star read for me. This story is about time travel. There's a cafe in Japan, Tokyo, where people drink a specially brewed coffee and sit in a particular seat to travel in time, and they have to come back before the coffee gets cold, but they can't change anything by going back in time. So what's the point of going back? This book has 4 short stories and I loved them. Second and fourth are my favorite because they really made me emotional, and the writing was beautiful even though it is translated from Japanese to English. I'll highly recommend this book to everyone. And the next book is actually a series, The Fog of the Air by Holly Black, and it was a 5-star read for me. It is one of my favorite fairy fantasy book. It has 3 books and I loved all of them. Even though I'm not a very fantasy reader kind of person, but still it was not very hard to read for me. I literally read the second and third book in like just 3 days, like 2 books in 3 days, which definitely means that I really enjoyed reading this book. And the characters are amazing and they are not so likable. They are always up to something, and of course I love reading all these kind of characters because they are not so perfect kind of people. When I started reading this book, I thought that this is going to be a romance fantasy because of all the reels and book talk videos, but it was not. Like romance is not the main theme for this book, but it's more on political side and also murder, like a lot of murder. In fact, in the starting of the book, 2 people get killed. Not having romance as a main theme, but fairy politics as a main theme was not a minus, it was actually a plus. And Jude was amazing. Like she's a strong female character, but she was also dumb at many times. But I really liked this book. I like it. I know some people don't like it, but I like it because you can literally see that these people are not likable, and in many books they show not so likable people as likable people. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And the next book is The Angels and Demons by Dan Brown, and this is also one of my 5-star read. And does this book need any introduction? This was one of the best thrillers that I have read. It is very well detailed and intriguing, like in a way that I really want to visit these places that have been mentioned in this book. It was just amazing. The story, like Illuminati has reborn to continue their vendetta against the Vatican City, and they are doing something because of that. And Robert Langdon, a professor, and Vittoria Vetra, a scientist, are trying to stop it. The twist and the writing is very amazing and I really enjoyed reading this book. Of course, it was a very long story, but also had some gore descriptions, so make sure that you check them out if you have any problems. And the topic itself, like the science versus faith or religion, is very amazing. Like it's literally evergreen. And the next book is The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and it was a 4.5 star for me. I absolutely loved this book. I don't know, the cover, the plot, and everything about this book was something that I don't know, like even though I went to read this book, it was still my favorite. That much I wanted to read this book, and I literally waited like around 6-7 months to read this book. But when I did, I absolutely loved it. Like yeah, it didn't end up being a 5-star, but it's okay, it was still a 4.5 star. It's an historical fiction plus romance plus fantasy. The story follows Eddie's life in a very detailed manner. It is a dual timeline and both are very interesting. The writing and the dark academia vibes were also very amazing. Like Eddie LaRue makes a bargain with the god that answers after dark that she'll live forever, but no one's going to remember her. But one day someone comes and says that he remembers her. So how she lives in a world where she just can't leave any mark and no one just knows her or remembers her. And the ending was something that I'm not over it. It's ended, but it's still not the end. This book has literally done something to me. It's very unique and beautifully written book. Like I was just lost in the writing, and it is a medium pace, so it's a very good if you are someone who likes to or wants to read, you know, a beautifully written book and enjoy the writing style. And the next book is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, which was 4.5 star for me, and this was the most disturbing book that I have ever read. This was a crazy ride. It has many gore descriptions about the crime that is happening in this book. The two sisters are trying to find truth about their eldest sister who went missing about 20 years ago, and no one knows where she went, if she's alive or dead. And now another girl went missing, and they think that both the cases are linked to each other, and they start to find truth, and they came across many shocking things, and those are really disturbing, just straight disturbing. But it was amazing. I'll recommend this to people who like reading gore descriptions and heinous crimes, even though the twist was revealed around halfway through the book, but still it was very crazy ride. Yeah, just read it if you want. It's amazing. And the next book is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which was 4.5 star read for me. It's retelling of a story of a Greek mythology. Patroclus gets exiled from his kingdom, and then he meets Achilles and they form an inseparable bond. But then the Helen of Sparta gets kidnapped, and Achilles has to go to the war because of his destiny. And Patroclus also follows him, then things has to happen. And this book is written very beautifully. It's very poetic, you can say. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, like, both have many amazing lines that I really wanted to underline, and of course I did. There are literally the most beautiful books that I have read. Like it took me back in time and gave me all the feels. It was sad and broke my heart, but it was emotional, but not that emotional. I have seen some people literally crying while reading this book, but yeah, it was very heartbreaking story. This was also my first Greek mythology book that I've read, so yeah, it is good for beginners too. And the next book is The Secret of the Nagas by Amish Tripathi, and this book was 4.2 star for me. This is the second book of Shiva trilogy that I read in February, and I really liked both the books. I really enjoyed it. I am yet to read the third book, and I hope I do read it soon. This is very unique. I haven't read any this kind of historical mythology fiction that is inspired by Indian stories or Indian gods. It is very creative and easy to imagine. Like, the author has just used names and the features of those Indian gods and made a complete different story and world out of it, which was very amazing and very creative. If you're looking for reading any Indian author and historical mythology fiction that is inspired by Indian gods, then you can definitely start with this one. Like, of course, this is the second book. You have to start with the first one, which is The Immortals of Meluha. You should definitely read this book. It was amazing. Like, creativity and imagination is on another level. And the next book is The Midnight Library by Maythag, and this was 4.2 star for me. It's a literary fiction which is philosophical and has element of fantasy and science fiction. A girl decides to end her life and ends up in this midnight library where she can choose a book and try different possible lives of her that she could have lived if she had made different choices. The concept is very new and had a unique way to describe regrets, depression and hope, and I never thought that this concept can be described in this way. Maythag's books feels very accurate and well researched. His books feels very realistic to me, and the story is amazing and has many profound messages. If you have any regrets or feeling lost in life, then you should definitely give this book a try. Of course, make sure that you read the trigger warnings for this book. Of course, it's just in the starting which is triggering. After that, it's get very low. You can also skip those few pages if you want. And the next book is Demon by Hermann Hesse, and this was a 4 star for me. It's a German classic coming of age story which is translated into many languages. It explored ideas of good and evil, morality and self-discovery. It follows a boy named Sinclair and how he encounters two worlds. One is light, another is dark or illusion or evil, and how he met a boy named Demon who provokes his search for his self-discovery and about life. It's a philosophical book and it was a little hard for me to read, to be honest. I don't know why, but it was. You should definitely read this book. It's around just 200 pages. This book literally worth your time. It talks about so many things. People who are in their late teens or their early 20s should definitely read this book because it talks about so many philosophical kind of things. I found this book because of BTS and they were the reason I started searching this book. I found it interesting and I just started reading it and absolutely loved the idea and all the things, and topics that have been covered in this book. So you should definitely read this book, as this book literally worth your time. So this was the best book that I've read this year till now. And if you find any book interesting and want to know more about it, then check out the solo reviews of these books. And at the end of this year, I'll come back with another this kind of video for the second half. And also I'm working on something new right now, and it's something very interesting. So, and I'll share with you all once I'm done, and I hope you all support that too. Yeah, that's it I want to say for now. I'll keep other things for after, and do check out my book blog and Instagram. I'll also give link in the description, as I'm very much active there. And I hope you found this video helpful, and if you like this video, then do let me know that in the comment section. And if you have read any of these books, or if you want to share some of your recommendations with others and me, then do let me know that in the comment section. See you in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, read as many books you can, and bye bye.